All right, Valentine's Day is this Friday. We were just talking about it, kind of snuck up on us. As for some people looking for love, turning to a matchmaker is something they can do. This is Sara. Let me get your name right. Heimerl. She's with Selective Search. She's the senior director at this luxury matchmaking firm. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so Selective Search is a luxury matchmaking firm. We work with commitment-minded individuals to find them the loves of their lives, basically.
So we're, put Tinder aside. This is...
Yeah, it's completely offline. We meet with everybody one-on-one, face-to-face to make sure that we're introducing them to the right person.
And it's fee-based, just so people know.
It is. It's a membership-based, but we also have a free affiliate program that's free for anybody to join.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let's get to some date tips for people, since people may be going on some dates coming up on Friday, or maybe even for a first time. So you have some advice for first date success. What are some of your tips?
Well, I think when you're going into a first date, you just want to make sure you're managing your expectations. We all have this idea of this perfect first date, and if things don't go exactly as planned, don't feel discouraged. I think that you should always go into a first date just knowing that you're meeting a wonderful new person. It's a great opportunity for a first date.
And what about the routines?
Yeah, well, I think some people do get a little bit nervous about going on a first date. So if you are that type of person, I would suggest creating kind of a routine to kind of relax yourself. It might be going for a run, going to the gym, taking a hot bubble bath, maybe preparing your outfit in advance so you don't show up late for your date. I think there's nothing worse than showing up late or feeling rushed or flustered when you get there.
Yeah, that sounds good. And any other tips you have for that first date? Because I know people do get really, really nervous. Create a date routine and keep your expectations to a minimum.
Yeah, and I do think once you get to the date, too, there's some things you do want to avoid. I think you want to make sure that you are not talking about past relationships. It is kind of the cardinal rule.
Don't trash your ex.
Don't talk. Yeah, and I also think that kind of creates kind of a negative vibe that you're bringing into the conversation anyway, and you do kind of always want to still try to remain positive about the date and while you're there. You're there to meet somebody new. It's a fresh start and a clean slate for you.
Do you recommend people come up with a series of questions for themselves?
Yeah, I do think it's always a good idea to have some questions prepared in advance, but I think they should be light and fun and not necessarily about how many kids you want to have. Maybe just ask them about the favorite vacation that they've ever been on, their favorite restaurant in the city, or things that they like to do for fun. Something light and keeps the conversation reciprocal and easygoing.
And don't ask them when they want to get married.
Right, exactly. Yes. They'll be running away from you. Yes.
Exactly. All right, so then there's the post date, because I think it's very stressful for people to think about, what if they don't get a text right away? What if they don't get a call right away? Or what if the person, they just didn't click?
Yeah, well, I think don't worry about that if you don't get the text message right away. We always say take things slow and take things very easy. Don't over-communicate either. So
what's considered over?
So we think of it as, we tell our clients all the time that it's like a game of table tennis. Once you reach out to somebody, wait for them to respond back to you. Don't fire away a bunch of questions at them. It may be aggressive or a little overeager. Just wait for them to respond and let things happen naturally.
Okay, all right, that's good advice. And what else? I mean, because I know that people do tend to get nervous as well. So if, say they haven't heard from somebody for a couple of days, do you recommend they reach out, or do they just let it go?
I say that you can reach out, and if you don't hear back, I think that is kind of telling in itself that maybe that person's not interested. But I do think that in this day and age, dating can be hard enough. So if you aren't interested in somebody, you should let them know that. Just send them a text message.
Ghosting. I hear about people getting ghosted all the time, which means, if you don't know, that someone just never communicates with you ever again after you've met them.
And ghosting is real, and the easiest thing to do is just send somebody a text message to let them know you're not interested. It's super easy. Just say, hey, I had a great time meeting you, but it's not the right long-term fit. I think we've all been in that situation before where you just don't hear from somebody, and it always feels better to know in advance than wonder what happened.
Oh, absolutely.
Why did they go into the abyss? What happened to them?
I'm just not that into you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
All right. Well, these are good tips, especially as we make our way into Valentine's Day. And don't make too big a deal out of Valentine's Day.
No,
right?
I think so. It's it's also about self-care and taking care of yourself too. So if you don't have a date, take care of yourself and take yourself out.
Yeah, and go out with some friends.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Have a good time. All right, Sara, we appreciate you. I want to get your name right because it's cute. Heimerl, we appreciate you. Selective Search.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Alex, I know you've got your Valentine's Day, so you don't need to worry about this. And
a lot of good,
Paul,
a
but
lot
they're
of
good
tips in there, though. Yeah, people can take away from that. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.